Hello, and welcome to Cabaret Beat. I'm your host, Wydetta Carter, and as a singer-actress myself, I am excited to bring to you this new virtual series from the Chicago Cabaret Professionals. Until we can all come to the cabaret again at all our favorite spots, we are coming to you with some of your favorite singers, new voices you may not have heard before, their stories, and of course, great music. Today's guests are Wendy Parman and Josephine Sanchez. There's never been a more important time for us to engage, connect, and share our experiences through music and conversation. So, let's join in the chat, share with your friends, and let's begin the Cabaret Beat. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
You caught me up with your big brown eyes. I stood transfixed by your gaze. Just like a spider ensnares a fly, lost in a delicate haze. You played the part of the hero bad boy, and I played the part of the moon. I kept aloft, yet was crushed like a toy after you'd act the buffoon. Now you are sad and so full of regret, denying while still unaware. Now I am finished with no raison d'etre, leaping off the carousel of despair. The carousel of despair. La 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 la. Ooh la 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 la. When we first met and tragedy struck, I quickly leapt to your aid. We both needed tea and sympathy, but your heart at my feet you laid. You made me queen for a day, it's true, and I gave you all I had. But then by turns you tightened the screws, bereft and inexplicably mad. Now I am finished with no raison d'etre, leaping off the carousel of despair. The carousel of despair. La 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 la. Ooh la 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 la.
Welcome, Wendy.
Hi, Wydetta. Thank you.
Oh, I am so happy to be here with you today. I think this is going to be very, very, very fun. Why? Because I have seen some of your clips and the songs that you sing and everything, and I just think it is so unique and so brilliant what you do.
Oh, thank you. You're my new best friend.
Good, I'll just take that here and put it here now. um, so you are a singer, an actor, a songwriter, a creator, a teacher, and then I just put dot, 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 because I mean, your umbrella is huge, and that's amazing to me. So we have a lot to talk about, but I want to go back a little and connect the musical dots. So you tell me, when did you know that this was what you wanted to do? What age did you start to realize that music was really?
Yeah. That's such a good question. I think, well, I definitely sang when I was a kid. My mom also sang, and she, pressured me a little bit to sing actually because I was very shy. But when I actually, the first time I was on stage really performing as a singing actor, that's what I fell in love with. That was much less scary than like getting up and singing a solo like in church was
Mm.
terrifying. And I did that first play experience when I was 10 in school. And yeah, so and I actually had a hand in creating that piece that we did with a collaborator, my best friend at the time. So I think I started off with the same stuff that I do now. Like I sang in that, I acted in it. It's goofy because I was so young, but it definitely bit me, and I was like, oh, I know I can do this. This is like fantasy that I love in the real world. That's how I
Mm.
got of it.
At 10 years
Yeah.
old.
Yeah, because
Wow.
everything else was not that good, so and so expressing myself in the real world was very difficult for me. But I could
Okay.
be someone else. Oh, I can play. I'm pretending to be someone else. I know how to do that, which a lot of kids do. But
Right, right. So it's interesting then, at 10 years old, you were a creator and a songwriter.
I did start writing. I didn't write original songs for that little piece we did, but I did write songs starting in third grade. Yeah.
In third grade. Do you remember the name of the song?
Oh, I'm not going to tell you that. Are you crazy? It was like the most horrible love song you can imagine.
Well, you were in the third grade. I
I
mean,
was. And I was already writing
hey,
about betrayal and loss.
oh, and what experience has a third grader had in all of that? So,
Not
oh,
betrayal and loss, certainly. Imagination, my data. It's all
yes.
up here.
Okay, so you started young, but of course, as you got into your teens and in college years, what were the changes that started happening? You started making additions and subtractions to what you were doing.
Well, I actually went to college originally for music composition. And then I realized that I didn't know how to live life without being a performer because I had no social life. And I also didn't really have the musicianship skills I needed to be that. I mean, I guess if I had been really motivated, I could have, but I didn't get like the kid, piano lessons and that. So I learned that late and I was behind everyone. So I ended up changing my major to theater voice so that I could study at least theater and music, singing. And at that time, that degree was like two separate things. It was not musical theater, it was theater over here and uh, classical singing over here. So I learned how to sing opera and I sang opera in college. And I never thought I would ever do that. But then, afterwards I was like, am I really going to do that? No, I'm not. And I came to Chicago actually then and started pursuing acting.
Oh, okay. So, what was the first show you did when you came to Chicago?
Oh, wow. The first show I did was not a musical, a play by Ellen Ackborn called Round and Round the Garden. It's part of the Norman Conquest series.
Okay.
Yeah, that was actually a really good experience. Really great cast, and yeah.
Okay. Then, what was the first musical you did here in Chicago?
Oh, whew, I guess it was the Three Penny Opera at Bailiwick Theater.
Bailiwick.
Uh-huh.
Wow. I remember
Yeah.
that. I remember that theater.
Hmm.
Wow. Well, good. And so, is that still part of what you do now? Do you still
It
do
is.
theater, musical theater?
I do. I went back to it though, and after I stopped doing that for a while in my 20s. I had a lot to deal with and emotionally. Oh, I shouldn't laugh about that, but it's, whatever.
It's your
And
20s. We all went through
I,
something in our
I,
20s, so you're
yeah,
not alone.
for sure. And I stopped performing for a while, and then I started doing my own songs more. And I collaborated with a Polish composer named Jarosław Gołębiowski, and we created a group of really interesting original songs. And then I actually ended up getting pregnant right after we like closed that show, and that changed everything because I also got divorced right away after I had a baby. So yay, that was fun. And so then my life became more about survival and raising a child, and I didn't act anymore for many years.
But you continued singing and writing. It
Well,
just
I
weren't.
did write a lot during that period, and I actually went back and got my graduate degree in interdisciplinary arts because I can't make up my mind, obviously. And I actually, in my second husband and I had a rock band for 10 years. So I was doing that.
I saw that. I saw that, but let's not skip over that. So, what was the name of the rock band?
I knew you were going to ask me that. The Red Apples.
Ah, and it was about 10 years you were singing in a rock band.
Yeah. Hmm. And that was just a fluke. I didn't expect to ever really do that either, but he was an amazing musician, a guitarist, and also, well, not only guitar, but and a singer. And it was kind of a roots rock band. We did a lot of very rootsy things, Western swing type stuff, and country, and roots of rock type stuff, and original stuff, both. So that was a
See,
lot of
that's what
fun.
I mean. That's what I mean. Your umbrella is huge. You
I
just
mean,
keep
again,
pulling things from here and putting them under that umbrella, which is wonderful. I mean,
well,
wonderful.
Well, thank you for saying that. I mean, I don't know if I've done everything as well as, I would have if I'd only done one thing, but I don't think I know how to do just one thing. So, but I learned a lot and I kind of had to retrain my own singing voice to do that because I had been doing theater and cabaret type stuff and it's very
Mhm.
different, obviously. So
Right.
that's why I
It
didn't
is.
think I could do it. Yeah, but I
Well,
did.
but you also perform jazz standards and your originals, and you work in the cabaret setting and the club setting. So, is that what got you involved in the Chicago Cabaret Professionals, or how did you enter that door?
Yeah, well, after my marriage slash band ended, which was about what 2013, I was lost, kind of like, what do I do now? Like I've done that for 10 years, and I was at the time doing this open mic thing at the singer salon at the 3160 Cabaret on Clark Street, which is now a different bar, and. I was doing kind of like cabaret shows there that were like open mics slash featuring other singers and myself to some degree. And I met some other singers and people there. A couple of different people told me about the Chicago Cabaret Professionals. And I was like, oh, should I? I don't know. I'm scared, because I'm not that good of a joiner of groups, So I
Mhm.
did though. I joined the group, but then I just stayed, on the outs, in the corner or whatever. I didn't really join in anything. And in fact, I went to their meet and greet, which they do, they'll like have a meet and greet for new members and people can get up and sing. And I did that. And I was horrible. I was so nervous to sing in front of this group of people. I really caved. I was so bad. Oh my God, you would cry if you saw it. It was And so I was like, okay, I'll never do anything with them again. I've just, embarrassed myself henceforward. But I slowly have kind of done, things here and there with them. And lately feel like I'm being more embraced also by the group. Well, obviously doing this is like, this is a huge honor. I think I was really thrilled that I got asked to do it. So I'm very happy for the support and encouragement from this great group of people.
Well, of course, and your story about being, not knowing anyone and being afraid of, um, and previously, I guess, Kathy Glickman, that was the first time I actually sung in front of most of the people that were there. And, you know, I don't care how long you have performed. There's always that little angst when you're singing. You can songs that you have been singing for years and you'll forget the words because you're so worried about the people who are watching you and everything. But I really think this is a great organization to be a part of, and you can move along in it at your speed. And you know, when you're ready to do things and be a part of things, you are, and that's what you're doing. So I'm thrilled everyone is, you know, meeting you today and listening to you sing and hearing your story. And I think that's wonderful. I think that's what it's all about.
It is.
So let's talk a little bit about, you have a web series called Cali Solo. So can you tell me a little bit about that? Again, another thing under her umbrella. This umbrella is one of those, you know what your umbrella is? It's one of those big, when you're walking down the street and somebody has a golf umbrella, which hits everybody when they're walking, because they're walking down the center of the sidewalk. So that's your umbrella. So tell us about Cali Solo.
I hope I'm not hitting people with my umbrella, but maybe encouraging them to gather underneath my umbrella.
And there you have it.
Well, Cali Solo came out of that same exact period because I was, like I said, kind of lost, and I went back to acting, and I was very happy to be doing that. And I immediately started getting some callbacks and getting cast in some stuff, which was awesome. I didn't think that would happen even. I was like, oh my gosh. So, but I was sort of disappointed with some of the things that I was getting called in for, because at the time I was, you know, in my mid 50s, and I was already getting called in for much older roles, you know. So it's like, for women especially, it's like you're 50, so you're 70, you know, which is kind of disappointing. But it's because you're not, you know, it's like that whole part of your life disappears. And so I wanted to write something that would be about, for me to do. So I wrote a part for myself based on my own life as a voice teacher. And I had a lot of funny stories about students that, you know, I, of course, changed the names to protect the guilty. And so, and it's about also what I was doing at that time in my life, which was getting over a divorce, you know, trying to figure out who I was. And my son was going off to college. So it was the first time I was about to be alone. And so that's what the series is about. It's 6 episodes about, you know, this portion of time in this person's life. And, you know, I gave myself a fake name too, because it felt too weird to just, you know, be like, this is my life, you know. It basically is, so.
Well, I mean, great. And again, when you're searching for something, if you can't find it, what do? If you are talented, you create it yourself, you know? And you're a unique individual. Nobody's going to do it like you. So,
well, right.
I love it.
Yeah. I mean, I do think that's a worthy thing to do. And I especially think that women and older women, maybe especially, need to write more and more stuff. You know, like their point of view.
Right.
Not from the male point of view. No offense, anyone, but you know, they don't know.
They don't. They don't. And I think they're very happy that they don't, but they sort of, like, you know, tend to want to think they know everything. Okay, men, don't get mad at me that I said you tend to want to know everything.
Not everyone, but
not everything. So.
A significant portion of. Sorry.
Okay, and then you're also a teacher, so you have your own studio as well, a voice studio.
I do, and it's right here.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, that started actually after I started singing with the band. I kind of realized, oh, this is something I can. I always felt I could do the teaching thing, but I resisted it a long time. And then I felt like I had so many, I don't know, I did feel like I had a lot of interesting experiences that would help me. I realized that I felt like I knew how to help people sing, especially in contemporary styles. And at that time, believe it or not, there weren't a lot of teachers teaching contemporary styles. There are now. But it was like I felt a way to market myself. I sing with a rock band. Here's what I do. I can help you also sing, you know.
And that's still going strong, right?
Yeah, it is. I have a really interesting, you know, a smaller, I call it a boutique studio. that I have, people who have been with me for years, some of them. I have singer-songwriters, I have actors, actor-singers, and just regular singers, and also people who just love singing. And I love teaching all these different people. They're all unique, and I love helping people find their unique sound, and their connection to music and song is really important to me, to help people with that. And yeah.
Well, that's great. You're eclectic and you work with an eclectic group of people. So that's wonderful. Well, again, I start talking to my guests and then time just flies. Oh, so I thank you so much. Thank you. I just thank you. It's so unique. And I look forward to seeing more of you out there and maybe even collaborating with you. I don't know.
Totally. We have to. I would love that.
But before you go, of course, I would love for you to sing. And could you tell us what you're going to do?
Okay. I'm going to sing a song called Lonely Wine Drinking that I wrote. It's from my solo show, Fragments of Heartbreak Reassembled Here. And that also came out of that same period, Kelly solo, all of that. Anyway, and it's about kind of realizing as you get older that you're turning into your mom. And I think this song is really resonant right now because when people went through the pandemic and, still are, there's a sense of isolation and loneliness and, using, whatever food or Netflix or wine or whatever it is to get yourself through the nights, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was going through a period like that, before this, and that's what the song is about. And so I kind of thought it would resonate with people right now.
Great.
And thank you so much, Wydetta. Thank you for this lovely chance to chat with you, and I really enjoyed it.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Okay, so here we go.
I want to introduce Danny Cohen, who you can't see right now, but he's playing the piano for me in the real world. Mom used to drink too much, but not a true alky. That was Dad. I was so superior, although I knew that she was simply sad. Bright and sparkly by day, bright with bluest eyes until the end. An extraordinary woman, difficult, creative, beautiful and critical and whimsical and natural and punishingly critical, unable to have friends. Now I'm years old, now I understand. Now I'm permanently blue. I've given up on men like you. I'm lonely wine drinking, lonely wine drinking, all alone at night in the winter dark. Lonely wine drinking, moaning and thinking. Tell me, is it secretly true? You're lonely wine drinking too. I don't know how it happened. When did it all start? Was it the second divorce that broke my heart? That broken heart, again, the broken heart. Maybe. Perhaps that was it. At least the icing on the cake, the emptiness, the Windsor shirt. No more judgment on my mom I'll make. 'Cause I'm lonely wine drinking, stewing and stinking, all alone at night on the sofa watching stupid Netflix, reading without understanding, wondering what happened to my youth, my beauty. Was it even real? Regretting choices, mostly about men I married. Thanks, Dad, for setting that up really well. Delving into questions, has my life been empty? Did I take care of everyone else and let myself go all to hell? Lonely wine drinking, won't you join me someday? Perhaps I'll see you at an art opening. I'll have a glass in my hand, just like Mom would too, as I do my share of lonely wine drinking.
Wendy Parman, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love it. I love it.
Hey, I hope you're enjoying the Chicago Beat as much as I am. I looked in my liquor cabinet to see what I had, and I tried making this cocktail and it was fantastic, so I'm going to redo it. All right, you need a lot of ice. That's the only trick. Okay, so here's our mixer. Going to add some ice. Our cocktail glass is getting nice and cold. Going to add that ice also. This is the Chicago Cabaret vodka, my favorite vodka. If you haven't tasted it yet, you really have to. And once you taste it, you're going to go and buy it. That's a great way to support the CCP. I'm going to put about 1.5 ounces in there. That's great. 1/2 ounce of Cointreau. 1/2 ounce of Campari. Now the trick to this martini is you got to really shake it well. You got to really give it a good shake. Vigorously, and I'm not kidding, vigorously. Oh man, that feels good. I'm going to strain it into this cocktail glass. That's a beautiful color. Perfect. You have two choices. You can float the orange right on the top, like that. If you want to add a little color, just put a sprig of mint. Look at that. That is beautiful. Or if you prefer, you can just put orange wheel on the side. Perfect. The Cabaret Diva. Enjoy the Chicago Beat.
I've seen a perfect sunrise in the morning, the birth of gold and crimson on the sea. I've walked the perfect night in early summer with the warmest lilac breeze caressing me. And I recall a perfect night of music. My eyes were filled with tears when it was through. And when I turned to see you also crying, I knew I'd found my perfect love in you. And once my life was filled with someone who shared the beauty all around. We built our world with perfect moments. We lived for sight and taste and touch and sound. If I remember just the perfect moment, perhaps my heart won't feel it broken too. For perfect moments I That's how I'll remember you.
Hello, Josephine.
Hello, Wydetta. How are you today?
I am great. I'm so thrilled. I'm so thrilled to be speaking with you today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so thrilled to be here today.
So, I've done a little checking on you, young lady, and there's a lot going on with you, and I'm happy about that. And congratulations.
Thank you
But
very much. Thank you.
so you made your cabaret debut in 2014, and I need to say that after all that I've heard from you and listen to your songs and everything, I'm surprised that it's been not that long that you've been a part of the cabaret world.
Yeah,
So
it's been a whirlwind. It has.
So if you could do me a favor,
Yeah.
because I'm going to say a couple things here. It's like within the past 7 years, you have become the recipient of numerous cabaret awards. So I want you to take us back in time and share your journey with us. You stated that you had a passion for music that began at an early age while you were listening to your mom's records. So start somewhere in there and tell us how you got to today.
I've been singing as long as I can remember. And yeah, I used to listen to my mom's record albums. She had a very small stack of record albums, so I listened to them over and over and over and over again. Oklahoma, I remember, and every Judy Garland album that she could get her hands on, and Johnny Mathis and Perry Como, all the hits of that time. So I listened to those over and over again, especially A Star Is Born. Oh my God, I just wanted to be Judy. So yeah, from a young age, and then I got involved in the church, as so many of us find ourselves singing in church. I've been working for the church for over 30 years, and so there is where I met my accompanist, John Cook. And when I met him back in 2014, I think, I had always wanted to record an album of religious music. People were asking me all the time, when are you going to have a recording? Do you have a recording that we can buy? So I said, I want to do this. This is the time. I'm going to do this now. So I had a list of, church hymns that I was going to do, just straightforward. And John said, that's nice, but why don't we have some special arrangements for you? Why don't you let me work some things up, maybe with Amazing Grace? Nobody wants to just hear Amazing Grace as they hear it every Sunday in church. So he wrote this amazing arrangement for me, and Come Sunday, and just so many great things were on that album. So I was bitten by the bug. I just wanted to be in the recording studio more and more. So the next thing I wanted to do, he said, well, have you ever thought of doing songs from the American Songbook? And I said, well, I love the American Songbook, but no, I never thought of myself in that category. He said, well, why don't you think about putting a list together? Let's put something together. So we did, and from that was the idea that maybe we could perform this list of songs somewhere. And I said, well, don't you have to be asked to do that? Doesn't somebody have to call you on the phone and ask you to come perform a show for them? And he said, no, you just go and book a room in town. I said, what? Yeah, cabaret. What's cabaret?
So we went to the Metropolitan Room in New York City, which is no longer, but it was a beautiful room. And as with every debut show, everybody I knew came out for that show, and I had just been totally smitten with the whole idea of cabaret and wanted to do show after show after that. Eventually, one of the friends that I made in the cabaret world, Deb Berman, came to me with an idea to do a show of Ann Hampton Callaway's music. And I loved Ann Hampton Callaway. I thought, wow, can I really, handle that kind of stuff? She's a diva. She's a jazz singer. I didn't think of myself that way. But little by little, I was convinced to start scatting a little bit, and yeah, we put that show together, and then an album of that show. So yeah, a lot has happened since 2014. You're right, Wydetta.
So did you have a chance to meet Ann?
I did. Yes, she came to my show. That's when I first met her. She came to the first night of that show, which was, can you just imagine having her in the audience and you're singing music that she wrote and that she covered? That was just an amazing thrill for me. And she was so wonderful. I had called her on the phone, and we talked about, her original music and, how things came about. She wrote for Barbra Streisand. For those people who don't know, she wrote The Nanny, the theme song to The Nanny. And she was just so gracious. We spent hours on the phone just chatting and getting to know each other. And so it was just an amazing experience. Yeah.
See, like I said, 7 years, and look, look what's happened.
You just gotta keep out there. You just do it, If you have an idea, just act on it, There's no time to waste when you get to be our age, right?
And time flies when you're having fun.
That's right.
So okay, you were listening to your mom's music, but when did you know you could sing? And,
I think I always knew I could sing. My dad used to tease me a little bit. I would watch, God, why can't I think? Shirley Temple. I would watch Shirley Temple on television all the time. And I would try to sing along with her. I had my little jump rope handle, and I would sing into my jump rope handle. And my dad would say, "Oh, you can't do that." He would tease me so that I would do more and more and more. So I was like, "Yes, I can. I could sing just like her." So really, as long as I can remember. And I really like to keep it to myself for whatever reason. It took me a long time to be willing to sing in public. By myself until I was maybe 15 or 16 years old, and I was, convinced to audition for, the community theater show, and yeah, so it's funny. I did really want to keep it to myself for a while. Who can understand?
So in high school, you never did any of the school concerts or anything like that, or?
I was involved in chorus, and there were no shows in the high school that I went to, so there was nothing like that. There were no, complete, musical presentations except for a sing, they called it, which I participated in. It was funny. I do remember being part of that in high school, and it was a very rowdy audience, bunch of teenagers all yelling and screaming, and, "Hey, what are you gonna do next?" And I thought, oh man, what have I gotten myself into? And I got out there and sang, and I just, with all my might sang "What I Did for Love," what I did for love, and the crowd hushed. Like, oh, this is power. This is power.
You captured them, and they were like, oh. Who is she again? Who is she? Well, that's a great song too. That's a powerful number. So.
Oh, and I let it rip.
Great choice to let your fellow classmates know, like, hey, I'm here, and this is what I can do. So you were born and raised in New York?
In New York, in Queens, for anybody who knows New York. Sort of a little suburb, and it was a mixed neighborhood, not a fancy neighborhood by any means, But I got to know so many different types of people and listen to different types of music, and my mind was opened from a very early age. So I actually appreciate my upbringing in Hollis, Queens. Run DMC is from Hollis, Queens. If anybody knows Run DMC.
So then, what is your connection here to Chicago? How did you get involved with the Chicago Cabaret Professionals?
Well, my accompanist, John Cook, I mentioned his name before. He is originally from Chicago, and he has some friends in Chicago and thought that we could maybe bring our show to Davenport's. And we did. We did our show, Come Rain or Come Shine, which was based on the music of Harold Arlen in Davenport's. So.
And when was that? When was that? When did you first come?
That was 2 years ago, I guess. At least March. Yeah, March of 2019. Yeah.
Okay. Well, so a question for you. This past, well, it's been more than a year now. What, 15 months? Everybody in the industry has gone through, not being able to sing or trying to find different ways to perform. And weren't you actually just did a show or about to do a show with two other people?
Yeah, well, I was about to do a show with Deborah Stone. We were doing a duet show, and I think we were set to do it March 13th, and everything shut down on March 12th. So, and yeah, that should we do it? Should we do? Everybody seems to be canceling their shows. What should we do? I don't know. So yeah, I'm anxious to do that one again with her. And in the meanwhile, we were also thinking of doing a duet show with Cindy Firing, who is one of your own. And we started to plan that, and we talked about that. She would fly to New York. She's got many friends in New York. John and I are, John is also her accompanist. So going way back, they worked with each other 20 years ago. And so we thought that we would put something together. She could perform in New York, build her audience in New York. I could build an audience in Chicago. And then everything shut down. So we didn't talk for a while. Everybody was sort of in shock for those first few weeks and months. People didn't really know if it was going to be 2 weeks or if it was going to be a year. We just really had no idea. So... And it was depressing. Yeah. It was downright depressing. And I remember thinking to myself, as happens to me at pivotal points in my life, you've got to do something, You can't just wait for the world to open up again. You've got to take some sort of action. And I said, why should we let that show just go by the wayside and die? Why don't I call her, and why don't we use this time, however long it is, to build a show together? And that's what we did, and it meant so much to both of us, sort of like a lifeline. It really was.
That's great. So is it almost ready? And do you know when you're going to?
It's almost ready. We don't have any dates yet. We haven't booked it yet. We're not quite at that point, but she is going to be flying into New York next week, and we're going to be running it. So instead of doing it on Zoom and on Jam Kazam, we get to do it live together. So that's really exciting. I'm really looking forward to having her come to New York.
Well, I'm sure we here in Chicago hope that once everything's together, we'll let you go ahead and perform it in New York first. Okay.
Well, no, we might perform it in Chicago first. I just mean.
Oh, okay. I was going to say.
We're going to rehearse it, Two girls in a room together with a piano player. What's better than that?
Yeah. Well, that's great, because I was going to say, you can do it in New York first, but please bring it here.
Oh, we're definitely bringing it there. No doubt about it.
Well, time has flown so fast. Oh my goodness. But like everyone else, I have to hear something from you again before you leave. So what are you going to do for us?
Well, I've got John in the background there. I'm not going to move the camera, but I am going to move the microphone a little closer to where he is. And we're going to do Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead. Once there was a wicked witch in the lovely land of Oz, and a wickeder witch there never ever was. She filled the folks of Munchkinland with terror and with dread, till one fine day from Kansas way a cyclone caught a house that brought the wicked witch her doom, as she was flying on her broom. For the house fell on her head, and the coroner pronounced her dead. Then through the town the joyous news was spread. Ding dong, the witch is dead. Witch, oh witch, the wicked witch. Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead. Wake up, you sleepyhead. Rub your eyes, get out of bed. Wake up, the wicked witch is dead. She's gone where the goblins go below, 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 yo ho. Let's open up and sing and ring the bells out. Ding dong, the merry-o. Sing it high, sing it low. Let them know the wicked witch is dead. Oh, wee, oh, oh, wee, oh, oh, wee, oh, oh, wee, oh, oh, oh. You're out of the woods, you're out of the dark, you're out of the night. Step into the sun and into the light. Live and in person. Thank you, John. Come out, come out, come out, come out, wherever you are, and see the young lady who fell from a star. Ding dong, the witch is dead. Witch, old witch, the wicked witch. Let them know the wicked witch is dead. Ding dong, the witch is dead. Witch, old witch, the wicked witch. Let them know the wicked witch is dead. She's gone where the goblins go. Below, below. Yo ho, let's ring those bells out. Ding dong, the merry-o. Sing it high, sing it low. Let them know the wicked witch is. Ding dong, let the joyous news be spread. The wicked old witch at last is dead.
Woo!
I gotta
I
get
love it.
John into this shot. Come over here, John. Just at least come and say hello. We at least have to say hello. This way, this way, this way.
Yes, we
This
do.
way.
My best guy.
Here's John Cook. And
Hi, Wydetta. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you so much, John. That was tickling those ivories like that. I love it.
To meet you this way, and I'm hoping to see you live one day real soon.
yes.
Same here. Josephine says, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wydetta.
Thank you so much for watching Series 1 of Cabaret Beat. And thank you to our sponsor, Cello Via. I hope you enjoyed listening to and learning about some of the members of the Chicago Cabaret Professionals. Please join us in the fall for Series 2. In the meantime, I invite you to visit chicagocabaret.org to view the monthly calendar to see where and when our guests and other members are performing. And you can find out the different ways you can join and support Cabaret in Chicago. Be well, and I will see you in the fall.